Hey everybody, welcome into a our pre-show here on our live Computer America video stream. It's Gamer Tuesday night here on Computer America. Computer America correspondent Josh Boykin from PopZara, editor-at-large from PopZara, is here with us tonight, and it's all about computer games. So sit back, relax.
1 minute until showtime.
Enjoy the show as we start. Now, somebody's got their...
That was me.
That was you. Okay. All right. You know, Josh, not to go to our chat room page. If you do, you have to mute the live stream because it starts just automatically, and we'll get an echo. So you want to make sure you do that, okay? I mean, you're more than welcome to go in the chat room. Just when you go into that page, you gotta click that little speaker that on the right.
Sure, to mute it.
And turn it off. You know, okay.
Okay.
All right, everybody. 30 seconds.
Your show will go live in 5 seconds. 4, 3, 2, 1.
Broadcasting live, it's America's longest-running national radio talk show on computers, Computer America, hosted by national columnist Craig Crossman. Look for Craig's weekly column in your favorite newspaper. This show is being beamed nationwide at ComputerAmerica.com. Keep it here for technology news, computer products, guest interviews, and your phone calls. You're listening to Computer America.
Hello, and welcome into the Computer America Show. It's the nation's longest-running, nationally syndicated radio talk show on computers. Computer America is heard around the world and coast to coast. And I'm your host, Craig Crossman.
And I'm your co-host, Ben.
And it's Gamer Tuesday!
Woohoo!
All right. It's all about games.
You still aren't playing the Plants vs. Zombies. We should really get you a nice repertoire of gaming music because, there's a lot of nice gaming music out there.
Yeah, we do.
Sure.
Okay, we can do that. We got lots of games, and I have all these different sounds, and I usually have the Plants vs. Zombies, but I don't have it in my sound card tonight for some reason. So I'll have to, and I have plenty of room for it, so I just need to get it. Okay. I mean, I have things like this,
The great and powerful Craig Crossman.
See, I feel like that should always be followed by a yum. Just that kind of.
No, that's this one.
Hey, Crossman.
Yeah. We need to update your sound card. That's for sure.
We need to do that. Okay. But anyway, welcome into our Gamer Tuesday show, and we have a great program planned for you tonight. Now, I've been looking forward to this, and hopefully our guest is looking forward to it tonight. This is really technically his first appearance on a regular basis as our Computer America gamer correspondent. Grayson Hamilton had been doing it for a couple of years, and then he evidently got overwhelmed with other commitments, and so.
Well, he's writing a book, which we're looking forward to seeing. So not as much time to give to us.
Yeah. So let me introduce my guest, and then we can kind of shoot the breeze and everything. It's our Gamer Tuesday show with Computer America correspondent Josh Boykin.
Hey.
Yes. Yeah, we can do it. Yeah. Yay. Josh is a lifelong gamer and has been a gaming journalist for over 6 years. Published in multiple forums and for multiple sites, he strives to make the world of gaming fun and exciting for the hardcore and the new alike. He currently is an editor-at-large for PopZara.com and an associate editor for GotGame.com. Josh, welcome into Computer America. How are you?
No, thank you. I'm not doing too bad. I'm out in Portland right now, so the coffee's good, the glasses are very thick, and the flannel is plentiful.
There you go. Now, Portland, is that your normal port of call? Is that where you live in Portland, or?
I actually I work out of Portland. I'm originally from northern Illinois, about 2 hours west of Chicago, and about a half hour south of the Wisconsin border. So it's a whole lot of plane travel.
Right, but for now, you're living where you are right now. You're
No,
actually.
actually, I live in the Midwest.
Oh,
I commute.
so you're commuting? Okay.
Yeah,
All
yeah,
right.
long drive. No.
Well, you didn't fly, you drive. Oh my gosh. How long a drive is it?
No, that was sarcasm. I
Yeah,
fly.
yeah, no,
Oh,
I do fly, but it's
he flies.
that would
But
be
but I'm guessing it's
tragic
like
if I had
a
to drive.
like a 1 week a month kind of deal, not like a oh, it's Monday again, gotta start flying out.
yeah.
Actually, it is weekly. Like
Oh,
Sunday night, I'm back on a plane and heading back out to Portland. So
wow.
it's yeah, it's a lifestyle. It's a
You know,
lifestyle. You get a lot of frequent flyer miles
I
that
was
way.
thinking a lot of frequent flyer miles. Exactly. Okay. Well, that's good. All right. Well, what I did with Grayson and I continue to do with all of our correspondents, including Josh, is that we always ask him to give us some topics and the things to talk about. And but if you want to get in on the conversation, or you have a question about computer games, or anything having to do with gaming on your computer, you should give us a call. We'd love to hear from you. 347-884-8881. That'll get you on and get you through. 347-884-8881. You can also email live, L-I-V-E, at computeramerica.com if you'd like to do that. And if you're a little radio shy, you don't want to go in the air, that's a great way to communicate with us. You can also join us in our live interactive chat room. From our homepage at computeramerica.com, just click on the button that says chat/live video. And on the left-hand side of that screen that will appear is our entry form into the chat room. Just pick a username. That's the name you'll be known by when you go in there. Click the connect button, and your browser will move you into the Computer America chat room. It's just that simple. And sharing that same page is our live Computer America video stream. Okay, it starts up automatically. You don't have to do anything. So because not only can you listen to the Computer America show, you can also watch the Computer America program. That's right. You can see us. You can see myself, Ben, our correspondent tonight, Josh. You can see all of
All
us.
our pretty faces.
Yes, all three faces and more. And what we're going to do is from time to time, if you want to, Josh wants to have something up on the screen, we have the ability to also
To
display.
also have phone calls that come in at the most inconvenient of times.
Yeah, exactly. But we can also display what's on Josh's screen. We can display what's on my screen or Ben's screen. We have the ability to do that. So if we're talking about something, you can actually see what we're looking at. Okay. So that's all part of the process here on the program. So anyhow, that said, I think we're going to get started. Before we get started, though, we in our little pre-show that we do on our computer video, I had mentioned to Josh that Ben had just gotten a Titan X from NVIDIA. We had them on the show, and I'm just kind of curious what your take, Josh, is about the Titan X. What I know if you had you had any hands-on with it or seen it in action? I'm just kind of curious.
Yeah, I wish I had. Actually, a fellow editor at Got Game had gotten some time with the Titan X and had nothing but fantastic things to say with it, which actually, honestly, just made me really jealous. You know, again, like we were talking about earlier, every week I'm back and forth, so the time that I get to spend with my desktop is few and far between. So, just kind of makes my heart tingle a little bit thinking about having that kind of processing power instead of using my laptop. So.
Yeah, exactly. As I said, Ben's been using it now for a little bit of time, and really enjoys the enjoys.
And really, the only negative I could get to stick on it, which if you can really count this as a negative, is it's too powerful. It will outscale any other hardware you have in your computer unless you've spent a pretty penny on the other pieces.
So the bottleneck now it doesn't become the graphics card anymore. The bottleneck becomes the slowest component on your computer. So if you have a slower CPU, that becomes
slower CPU, less RAM than usual. Just it will no longer be your graphics card, which is great. It runs amazing. It's taking such a big load off of the resources, but at the same time, it's like wanting to take your fast new car out, but all you have are dirt roads, and you can't do it. You can't do it.
Josh, Ben, the next thing he wants to get is the cable for it because he wants to be able to use his other graphics card,
The SLI.
the SLI cable, so he can plug in the second graphics card, which he had removed. But I don't think that's not going to do much for him, right? Because it's already got
Or second guessing me.
Yeah.
I mean, are you going to get like a second CPU and like a new set of RAM, second keyboard, another pair of hands? Like,
No, the graphics card that I took out of my computer was a GTX 560 Ti, and I
Okay.
mean it's just sitting here on my computer collecting dust, and it could be in my computer collecting dust. So I figure why not get an SLI cable? Costs about $15, and break it up for a second graphics card. Doesn't hurt.
well, I mean, but you're also going to be talking about additional power consumption and heating if you have that second one in there, right? Like, it sounds like your bottleneck is not your graphics card; it's the rest of the computer. Like, the bottle is the bottleneck at this point, right?
Yeah, no, it's currently it's my CPU is my current bottleneck.
Sure.
The one thing I noticed when I walked into Ben's room is I didn't have to yell over the fan noise. I mean, his computer all of a sudden became extremely quiet because
Yeah, the temperature idles around 40 to 50 degrees Celsius now, which before it would idle at about 70. So it's
Oh, wow.
very, very cool.
yeah. So it's very quiet, and even when he put an additional load on, you loaded up one of those programs to see to push it's still the fan was just barely noticeable. You could barely hear it. So he's got a lot of overhead with the Titan X. And,
Nice.
But I mean, like it's all good, but like the power consumption really is an issue for me. I have I want to say a 800 watt power supply. Like it's like really, really big. Power supplies and heat really, like I said, is really not a factor. So, why not slap it in there? Worst case, it could just make it run smoother.
well,
I figured.
I do kind of feel like this is like that meme with the little girl, and it's like, why not both?
Exactly. Why not both?
okay. All right. Well, that said, why don't we get into our first topic tonight? And again, if you have any comment or suggestion or questions about what we're talking about, 347-884-8881. Josh Boykin here with us, editor-at-large for Popzara. And we're going to talk initially beginning gaming on the cheap. Now, aside from the obvious, what are you talking about there, Josh?
All right, so I think one of the things that's really interesting about modern gaming is that you don't necessarily have to throw down $50 or $60 at a time to get a quality game experience. Even though you're still talking about your AAA titles coming out and being $50, $60, there are tons of ways, especially on PC, that you can kind of stretch your gaming dollar. So I thought it'd be kind of cool to talk for a little bit about some of the different ways that you can get some really good games without paying some, astronomical prices.
Well, I always I've heard it said now. They said the days of the $60 game are it's becoming less and less. I mean, we're not seeing it as much. Is that the trend?
Well, I think the $60 game is going to be akin to the big box office smash, right? Like the new Transformers movie comes out and it's tons of explosions and CGI and all that crazy stuff. Like that's the equivalent of your $60 game. I think there's always going to be a market for it, but are you going to see them nearly as frequently? Those big, high budget action blockbusters? Probably not, because there are tons of ways that you can still have like a really good time at the theater without watching that big explosion movie. And we're kind of getting the same thing with gaming, where like you have this this kind of resurgence of retro games, 8-bit, 16-bit inspired games, turn-based RPGs, and even mobile gaming is making this really big resurgence. And nobody's going to pay $60 for a mobile game. You're just not going to convince me to pay $60 for something I play on my phone. That said,
yes and no, and I'm sure we're going to talk about this, but a lot of these games that are free or freemium or pay some kind of pay transaction in them, you can just as easily not pay anything up front, and then throughout the course of the game pay over 60, more than 60.
Oh, for sure. But I mean, the same thing could be said about like World of Warcraft or Final Fantasy 14.
Yep.
You know, any of these, you know, sort of pay per month MMO type deals. Theoretically, you can end up paying more than $60. You know, Guild Wars 2 is, you know, one of those like kind of pay to play in the sense that you pay like, you know, $20 or whatever cost it is when you pick it up, and then it doesn't have a subscription fee. But you can choose to pay more money if you want to, which I think is a healthy model.
Yeah.
I did, for instance, there's a game called Implosion that just came out on iOS just a few days ago, and it was $10, which I like. I was like, you want $10 for a game that I'm gonna play on my iPod? Like, you've got to be joking. But I figured it was worth checking out, and like watching that game in action, it's like watching a AAA game. Like the graphics are fantastic. It's fully voice acted. The cutscenes look like something I'd watch on a PS3. Like, it's really crazy that it's on a device that's like this big.
Now, did you get a hint that you were expecting, other than the $10 fee, which was like the big red flag? I mean, did they have like a preview that you could see what it was like before you downloaded it, or did you have to just order it and go for it?
Nope, I just had to take the plunge. I'm not sure if maybe it would be a good idea for them to have like a one-level demo out there or something like that.
Yeah.
I see those more often on Android than I do iOS. I think that iOS developers are a little more likely to jump in and just charge a premium price point, because like when I went in there, the game had only been out a few days, but already had like 46 reviews with an average of like 4 3/4 stars.
I was
So
going to say, so the reviews from the people who purchased it were like, you say, 4 3/4 stars, 5 stars, so they were all really, really high. So that's because, and that's hard to get. I mean, if you look at some, I mean, you'll see 2, 3, 4s, so you won't see it like that over unless there's something really going on.
exactly.
And so that was probably the tip of. I mean, what were the comments too besides the star rating? I mean, it was like,
Well, there were people that when they were like, "Thank you so much for providing us a AAA experience," and it was just like almost like showing fealty to the developers of the game, and I mean, it's like you said, you know, I'm used to going into a comments thread and seeing like, "Oh, this sucked," like SUKE, you know. So to see a lot of people saying some really positive things about it, I was like, you know, I'm worth. I think it'd be worth a shot. And the gameplay is really sharp. It's got pretty much anything that you'd be asking out of a typical third-person action game that you'd be playing on PS3, PS4.
wow.
I would say the writing isn't phenomenal, but sometimes that happens when you're talking about smaller time developers. They're not so much worried about the grammar. I was an English major, so I care about grammar.
Yes. So another game I call is what again?
Implosion.
Implosion. Had you heard of it, Ben, or is it?
Me? No. I'll admit I'm not really too big into the mobile game space. You know, it may have its merits, just it's not what I'm used to.
Okay.
Right. Wait, did you say I'm missing out?
You're missing out, man.
I'm
telling you, it's a changing space. I think we've got a game on the agenda a little later that I'll bring up. But yeah, mobile gaming's getting big.
Really?
Yeah, I don't have a problem with it. It's just like it seems like mobile gaming is trying to get the biggest bang for your buck, as much as you can squeeze out of the limited hardware space, configuration, UI, that kind of thing. And I'm so used to a desktop computer with graphics and all the resources to spare. It's kind of hard to make that jump.
Sure.
Now, what iPhone did you watch it on? Did you have an iPhone 6, an iPhone 5S?
I actually have a fifth generation iPod Touch. I am really devoted to the idea of keeping my phone Android. So I have a fifth gen iPod Touch, which is basically the same as using an iPhone 5 or an iPhone 5. I don't think it's an iPhone 5 as opposed to an iPhone 5S.
Right. So you were using a quote-unquote underpowered device and still was getting this kind of rich experience. So if you have a 5S or a 6, you're really gonna see some really cool things with this.
Absolutely.
Implosion. Definitely. I gotta. Maybe on their website they have some cutscenes or something available. Did you check out the website of the developer website?
Yeah, let me take a look. See if I can track something down for us.
Check something down. All right. So as we're talking to Josh Boykin, we're talking about gaming on the cheap. So how did this fold into gaming on the cheap? $10 again.
So, well, I mean, and it almost sounds counterintuitive to pay $10 for a game on the cheap on iOS, right? But I mean, honestly, compared to certain games, I've paid $60 for games. Watch Dogs being a great example, for console games, where I was just like, wow, I wish I had paid $10 for that. So,
Watch Dogs had this notorious reputation that the cinematics was wonderful and everything, but the game itself was lackluster.
Yeah, there's a little saying in project management. It's that you undercommit and overdeliver, and they did the opposite. They overcommitted.
Whoops! I think they overcommitted and
he overcommitted his
his
broadband connection.
Oh, there you are. You're back. Okay, you lost your.
You lost me?
Yeah, we lost you. You're back.
Oh, well, I'm back.
Overcommitted.
Yeah. If Watch Dogs hadn't been written up as this sort of like holy grail of sandbox games, maybe things would have been okay. But it really just turned out to be sort of average at best. There was a lot of stuff to do, but the story was weak. And
yeah. It seemed like with that one, they the news agencies got a hold of it, which yay for games and and mainstream news outlets. But at the same time, it's like they kind of just latched onto it because of quote-unquote hacking, where really you can learn as much hacking from Watch Dogs as you could, from reading Sesame Street. Like, it's, they picked it up, and then, of course, they had to expand on it, and when things get really, really popular, they kind of get out of hand.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
It's a shame.
So, yeah. Okay. So, where do we go from? So, we're still talking about gaming on the cheap. And so you brought that up as an example. What else on gaming?
Yeah, I will say that probably the best way to do gaming on the cheap is through bundle sites. I mean, this is pretty exclusive to PC gaming, but there are tons of ways out there that you can pick up tons of games at a super cheap price. So humblebundle.com is a really awesome example. Basically, they'll throw together multiple collections of games every week that you can go in and name your own price. So they'll set a baseline where they say if you donate $1, you'll get Steam keys for these 4 games. And then if you donate a minimum of $7.50, you'll get these additional 3 games. And then periodically with some of their bundles, they'll add new titles over the course of the week. Now, the one that they just announced is the Humble Origin 2 bundle, and their last Origin bundle, which is Origin is the name of the PC download service that EA curates and runs. Company that does Mass Effect and Madden and Plants vs. Zombies, that kind of thing. Mm-hmm. They just announced their Origin 2 bundle. So this one's got Plants vs. Zombies, Garden Warfare, Mass Effect 2, a few other titles. Go ahead and make sure I have all that written. Mm-hmm. Pulled out. Here we go. So Humble Origin Bundle 2 has Dragon Age Origins, Peggle, Dead Space 2, Medal of Honor, Allied Assault War Chest, Command and Conquer Generals, Plants vs. Zombies, Garden Warfare, Dragon Age 2, Bejeweled 3, and Mass Effect 2. And you get all of those games, completely full versions, for $4.70.
Now, you're pulling this up on your screen. You can use the screen share so we can actually see what you're looking at.
Sure.
Yeah, and I think the Humble Bundle is also worth mentioning, regardless, because how great it is. I'm not sure which cause they pick lately, but most, if not all, the proceeds go to charity, right?
Go to charity.
Yep.
Wow, that isn't.
I am having some trouble finding the little share my screen button.
Oh, that's
on the charms bar on the left.
On the left side of the Google, it'll say it says a screen share. It's a little green. What's the green icon on the left-hand side?
Oh, the one with the little arrow.
Yeah, you say, and then you click that, and then you can see what your screen is.
Yeah, but all those games, I mean, if you added them together, what they were when they were first released, I mean, I heard a couple of $60 titles in there. Garden Warfare, I think, was like $30 when it first came out. That's well over, $100, $150 worth of games
Oh
for
yeah.
$5.
Yeah, exactly.
Can you see this little screen here?
Yeah, absolutely. We see your screen now. Exactly.
Oh, nice. The power of technology, folks. uh, but yeah, so we've got our Humble Origin 2 bundle, and it's got Dragon Age and Dragon Age 2, which are older RPGs, but still, I mean, you're talking, 30, 40, 50 hours of gameplay. Peggle and Bejeweled are both fantastic casual games. Mass Effect 2 is almost my favorite in the franchise. I know it's kind of a gamer sin, but my favorite is Mass Effect 3, minus Mass Effect 3 has one of the worst endings to ever grace a trilogy of fantastic games, and that's unfortunate, but it's
It's
true.
true.
And then you've also got Medal of Honor, Command and Conquer Generals, which is a real-time strategy game. I've actually always been a fan of Command and Conquer since elementary school. It's notorious for having really, really cheesy cutscenes, but it's a lot of fun. And then you've also got Plants vs Zombies Garden Warfare, which is kind of first, or is it? It's either a first or a third-person shooter based on the Plants vs Zombies universe. And you're talking about getting all of those games for either $4.70 or more. You get to choose. So, and you can see this case, the charity is going to Girls Who Code Foundation for Cancer Research and Build On. So you get to help a good cause and get some good games. Only thing that's depressing is you have to use Origin.
All right. Well, cool. So there it is. There's a tip. There's Humble Bundle. If you're looking for some gaming on the cheap, that's certainly a way to do it. Okay. So anything else that you might want to recommend?
Well, I'd say there are a number of other bundle sites to keep an eye out for. A couple of my personal favorites are bundlestars.com, IndieGala, or Gala, Gala.com, and IndieRoyale.com, ROYALE, like Casino Royale. Each of those are going to be sites that curate their own bundles that, are packages of games that you can pick up for $1.50, $3, $5, and offer you a bunch of different games that you can give a shot. And they're all, full games. Some of them are by independent developers. Some of them are older. Some of them are newer. But they rotate on a really regular basis. So those are really good things to keep an eye out for. And it's a good way to stretch your dollar if you're short on them.
Okay. All right. So now let me ask you something. I mean, there's so much stuff that's free out there. Sometimes you wonder, well, there's so much free stuff. Why do you want to spend money on it? I mean,
This again coming from the guy who pays for HBO.
There is.
Game of Thrones is a big deal.
Yeah, I mean, come on. Let's face it. I mean, you have the Steam platform. You have all these that have all these free games on them, and I mean, you could probably pay a new game every night for 6 months and still not go through it all. So yeah, go ahead.
Well, I mean, you can be, the thing is, like, if you're gonna play those new games more often than not, like, eventually you're just gonna be playing a lot of Flappy Bird clones and like, to get into what I'll call the gamer ethics of it, or at least what I like to think is the gamer ethics of it. The very nature of money is that it provides us the opportunity to do things like eat and sleep in warm places. And theoretically, we receive money for doing things that are beneficial to the people around us or society, right? So if somebody produces music that I like, the idea is that I provide them money so that they can sleep in warm places and eat and focus on creating more of the thing that I enjoy, which is that music. I'd like to apply that same concept to video games, right? So if people are going to go out there and make games, and I want them to continue making more games, I should give them money so that they can sleep in warm places and eat, and then work on playing games instead of sleeping in warm places and eating because they are making coffee or filing off to their suit and tie business. Like, I would like them to focus on the things that I care. Really, paying people to make things is an inherently selfish venture, right? I mean, like it's like no, please focus on making things that I care about. Don't go make coffee for those other people.
Well, it makes sense. Obviously, these people they have to make a living, and certainly your support of that is certainly a good thing. Although, I think it's just a general commentary on the human race that we tend not to be that way. If we can get something for free, we're going to go for it.
That is true.
Yeah, I mean that just seems to be the way of the world. But if you really, what you're saying is, if you really want the cutting edge, the top of the line, the newest, the best, you're going to spend some money. That's just the nature of it. But if you don't need that or you don't want that, and you're just happy paying different iterations of Flappy Bird, well, you're right. Exactly.
Absolutely. That's the beauty of the free market. There are any number of Flappy Bird clones for you to play for free.
Yeah. All right, you're listening to the Computer America Show on the Blog Talk Radio Network, on the Boost Radio Network, on the IRN Radio Network. It's our Gamer Tuesday show tonight. Correspondent Josh Boykin is here with us. We're talking right now about gaming on the cheap. 347-884-8881 will get you on and get you through. 347-884-8881. We got lots more coming up. We got a news test bulletin review from Marty Winston. It's all happening here on Computer America. We'll be right back.
Don't complain about your cable bill going up and up and up. Do something about it. Grab a pencil and jot down this special number, 1-866-663-MyTV. The more cable TV rates go up, the better digital satellite TV looks. So, disable the cable and get more of your favorite channels in 100% digital quality for less money. Call 1-866-663-MyTV right now to sign up for packages starting as low as $19.99 and up to 4 rooms. And there's no equipment to buy. That includes your free HD TV upgrade, your free DVR upgrade, and your free professional installation. And the best part, the pristine digital picture and sound. Call 1-866-663-MyTV. So, what are you waiting for? Pull out your major credit or debit card. Call 1-866-663-MyTV. 1-866-663-MyTV. Disable the cable, cut costs, and get more. Call 1-866-663-MyTV. 1-866-663-MyTV.
Hi, this is Craig Crossman, host of the Computer America Show. You have important meetings to schedule. Your company's getting ready for its IPO, and you're in charge of the PTA fundraiser this month. So how do you coordinate everyone to be available at the same time? Are you still using emails, phone calls, even text messages to schedule meetings with a group of people? How's that working out for you? That's so great, huh? It's a fact that every day, millions of people suffer from scheduling headaches. Well, with Doodle, scheduling meetings with a group of people is quick and easy. With Doodle, you can easily propose available times to each member. Each one checks off the times that they're available, and then you simply pick the time that works best for the group, all in an easy-to-read display that integrates with your existing calendar. Nothing could be more simple. Give Doodle a try for free, and like millions of Doodle users, you'll truly see how easy it is to find the perfect date and time for all your meetings. That's www.doodle.com.
Here we go again. This is Marty Winston with a news tips bulletin review for Computer America. This time, the GLLS Edge-Lit LED light board. Green LED Lighting Solutions sent us a standard Edge-Lit LED light board, a small square panel as thin as foam core board. That's stuff you use at science fair exhibits. The sample has a row of 9 LEDs on one side, lighted at 3200 degrees Kelvin, which is a fairly warm white, and on the opposite edge, another 9 at 5300, which is getting close to daylight. It has an opaque back and a grid of small optics within the back face to spread the light from those emitters more or less evenly across the surface. So effectively, it makes the entire square a light source. Edge-lit LED displays derive from the edge-lit micro-lens panels that are backlights to monitors and notebooks and other displays. Most residential applications today tend to be shelf or counter or accent lights. but we expect them to become part of general room lighting once consumers learn about good ways to deploy them. Even the sample panel we got would be effective in lighting a cupboard, under a desk, as a keyboard light, inside a rack cabinet, or other places where thin, flat, and bright offer a welcome combo. Bottom line, the Green LED Lighting Solutions Edge Lit LED Lightboard sample gives us a hands-on, eyes-on view of what we see to be a major coming trend in lighting. This is Marty Winston with a News Tips Bulletin Review for Computer America.
Welcome back to the Computer America Show. It is 33 minutes past the hour. Josh Boykin is here with us on our Gamer Tuesday, our first Gamer Tuesday of the month. We usually have a second one later on, but this one is one of my favorite because I like talking to other people, not just companies, just about the whole thing in general. Right now, though, we're talking about gaming on the cheap. And that means not going out and buying a $60 game, because really, unless it's Christmas, birthday, what have you, it's kind of hard to allocate those kind of funds to something as not necessary as video games. So nice that we talk about this, and we just finished up talking about bundles. Great way to
What?
No, my bad. Anyways, just finished talking about bundles, and bundles are a great way to stretch your dollar. And not sure if this was in your lineup, Josh, but along with bundles, there's also sales. And everyone knows, clothing sales. Everyone knows sales at the grocery store. But there's, really, really great sales, and even some famous sales out there for video games as well.
Oh, for sure. Steam sale, pretty much anything Steam sale related. You're real likely to see pictures of Gabe Newell, the kind of CEO of Steam, coming at somebody with like a paddle. Usually a picture of your wallet. You're like, oh no, please spare my wallet. There are, and you're right. There are a lot of ways in which, if you're just willing to be patient, you can save a lot of money on games. I mean, honestly, it's kind of become the norm that even with AAA titles, if you're given a month or a month and a half, you can save $20, $30, sometimes even $40 on a $60 title. Particularly if it's something that doesn't get super popular. The most recent Final Fantasy 13, Lightning Returns? Final Fantasy 13, yeah. Give that one like 3 weeks, and all of a sudden it's down to $30. That's because it didn't sell particularly well.
Has there ever been a Final Fantasy that has sold well at all? I mean, we're up to third version of 13.
Oh yeah, no. Final Fantasy 7 is one of the greatest games. A lot of people count it as one of the greatest games out there.
Okay,
it would sell like crazy if they re-released it tomorrow. If they were like, here's a disc on Final Fantasy 4 or Final Fantasy 7 on your PS4, pay us $60 for it. I can guarantee you, like, money would virtually rain from the windows.
Okay, so they did it right at least once, because after the 13th time, you figure out all these failures. So so they just did it once really, really well, and all the other ones are sort of like, up to they figured well.
I think they've done it a lot. They've done it off. Like they've been pretty reliable, and if you're really big into Final Fantasy, you find something to like about all of them. Yeah. It's just it's kind of hard to get people interested in that kind of game again, because really the turn-based strategy game is now kind of a niche. It's not new, it's not shiny, it's not as engaging as let's say a Battlefield or a Call of Duty, but they have a fan base.
Okay.
Yeah, and Final Fantasy is kind of like your favorite prolific author, right? So somebody who's written like, I don't know, 13 books, right? Everybody has the book in the series that they don't like, but overall you're like, no, still a good author. Final Fantasy's kind of the same way, The games aren't necessarily connected. Some of them are good. Some of them you kind of just pretend didn't happen.
There you go. All right. Was the movie Final Fantasy, where was that in the series?
The pretend we didn't happen.
Okay.
It's not actually in like the timeline. Final Fantasy doesn't have like a strict continuity. Like if you were reading the Game of Thrones books, each one kind of takes place in a similar circuit. There are some things that are similar, like they all have gil as their monetary currency, or there's a character named Sid, or things like that. But they're all very, very different experiences.
Okay. All right. So again, we're talking about gaming on the cheap and how to get more of your gaming dollar. And we talked about some of the bundle sites. What else what can we talk about with gaming? Saving money on playing games. Josh.
Well, actually, one of my favorite options is actually game trading. Right? If you were to take your game to GameStop after or any other used retailer, you'll get a fraction of what the game is worth, and that even goes for games that may be collectible. But there are a lot of resources out there that'll allow you to trade games. One of my favorites is actually GameTZ, the Game Trading Zone. GameTZ.com allows you to sign up for free, and you put together an account, and it puts together basically a database where you enter all of the games that you own, and then you also put in the games that you want, and it cross-references the games that you own with games that other people own, and then the games that they want with the ones that you have. So you can go through and get a quick list of, oh, these are my matches for this particular person, and you can make offers and then trade in the mail. Like any other good website, you have reviews of the different people who are involved, and whether or not they're good traders or bad traders, and different people have preferences for the things that they like to trade for. But it's also really nice when you have something that's not modern that you want to get more games for. You've got a Super Nintendo and you're looking for that old copy of Space Jam or something like that. Resources like GameTZ are a really good way to do that. And, I mean, now you're talking about getting new games just for the cost of a game that you don't want to play anymore, plus some postage.
Yeah. Sort of like Netflix for games, in a way. You're just trying, so you're not really spending any money except maybe on postage, and you're just trading. And how wide is the scope of this? Do you find really new games, or is it going to be like mid?
Oh, it's huge. I mean, like you find old retro stuff, you find new things. I mean, like it's anything that anybody has purchased and would like to trade, and you can find trades from all over the world. There's a pretty big user base in the U.S. I've been on the site for like 14 years now, and I'm off and on with my activity, but it's always nice to come back to, and the community is a pretty friendly one too. I will admit, I got ripped off once. But if I'm realistic, it was a situation that was way too good to be true, and we all know that saying about if it's too good to be true, it usually is.
Oh, okay. All right. So you have trading sites that you can do if you're gaming on the cheap. It sounds to me like there's so much out there that you really don't have to spend money unless there's something comes out that you absolutely got to have, and you got to have it now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I tend to agree. Do you? What was the last had to have it now game you picked up, Ben?
Had to have it now. I think that would probably be, and like at first it was like, oh, that's interesting, and then it slowly turned into gotta have it now game, and that was City Skylines. Like
really?
I hadn't heard
it's
about
great.
it, and I was and still am a huge fan of SimCity, and like I just heard more and more and more about it, and then finally one day I just woke up and I'm like, I gotta have that, and I went out and got it.
There you go.
Yeah.
How was it? Because I've heard awesome things, but
I think people hit the nail on the head there when they were theorizing why they would release this and how it plays, and we think that the government is actually trying to crowdsource civil planning, because it gets so detailed and so intricate and so hard to do that it's like you control a city just like SimCities, except you control it down to how many lanes are on the road and how in which direction the lanes go. Like it's crazy complicated, and it's fine for the first 50 or 100,000 people, but once you get up to 300,000, 500,000 people in a city, traffic becomes your number one enemy, and you really have to focus. Like it gets hard for a simulation game. It's not just
Oh, so it's called Portland, the game.
it's important, but like I guess EA kind of they hurt me because it's like they dumbed down the genre so much. And then City Skylines came out, and it's hard. Like a simulation game is hard to play. So, and I love that. I haven't been challenged, let alone by a simulation game, in a long time. So it's I would definitely recommend it if you're into that kind of thing. But it's like what Child's Play is with EA SimCity. This is for adults when it comes to City Skylines.
So it basically like takes the genre and gives it kind of back to the hardcore audience, where if you want to hang out and maybe drown your people, you play The Sims, and if you want to get into the nitty gritty of running a city without actually running a city, you pick up City Skylines.
And at the same time, I've seen people who have actually drowned their city. But for them, it takes them hours upon hours of getting. Making a city that is extremely water dependent, and then they set up the water pumps, and they set up a wall, and they dam the whole shoreline off, get the pumps out, and then they pump and like all these changes, they happen over the course of hours, not minutes like they do in SimCity. So eventually, you can break the dam and flood your whole city. And I did that once by accident. I was trying to get power for my city, and in real life, when you make a dam, you create a floodplain above where the dam is. And they have the exact same feature in City Skylines where, you put a dam, you get a floodplains. And I accidentally maybe flooded the entire residential district of my town and had to start over.
NBD.
So, it's every little thing you do has an effect, and it was really nice to see it. So I'm that was my last gotta have it game. And I was not disappointed with that one at all. And then my next one, which I haven't gotten yet.
Wait. There's no undo button when you flood them?
No, No, those poor little simulations. They're dead. They're gone.
Wow. Can't you make a copy of it so in case you mess up?
You can save if you want, but I mean, most of the time it's just the autosaver, and that's not very reliable. So pretty much you get one chance.
You burn the bridge.
You can't save it and start over
drown
again.
the bridge.
Yeah. Or flood the bridge in this case. Exactly. All right. Well, I mean, so all that hard work then goes down the tubes. I mean, that must be frustrating.
Which is not. It's frustrating, but and which is kind of the point of the next game. That I'll save it until we actually move on to the topic of it. But the next gotta have it I wanted was Bloodborne, because I saw so many people playing it, and they look like they were just getting their butts handed to them. I'm like, I gotta get in on that.
There's the streak of the masochistic gamer.
Yeah, it's nice. Well, really, that's what separates the gamer from just kids playing video games. It's how much strategy, skill, and tact does it take to actually accomplish something. You can do Angry Birds all day long,
how much do you want to hurt yourself virtually?
Yeah, you can play Angry Birds all day long, but you're not really having an experience. You're just kind of keeping yourself busy. Which,
I can't wait till we talk about Steven Universe.
I don't know where that rolls in, but I like the TV show. I will admit that.
I do have that on the agenda, right? Attack the Light?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, very good.
Josh, we got a question from the chat room. He wants to know if you've given Elite Dangerous a try, or if you're thinking about trying it.
No, I actually I haven't even much heard of it. Let's see.
Elite.
Yeah, as we both fervently Google it.
Okay, well, you stumped both of our gamer experts. They had never even heard of it.
I'll give you. Oh, this does look good. So, Elite Dangerous. Let's see. Take control of your own starship in a cutthroat galaxy. Give me a second. I'll let the site load, and then I'll do the screen share.
Okay.
Scare screen.
It's those speaking skills that you really.
Yeah. See, it's all those alliterations that are
exactly
too much for me. Too much for me.
Okay.
So it looks like Elite Dangerous kind of runs in the same area as like a No Man's Sky or, it's you basically you create your own ship, and then you go out and you do what you want to do. Let's see. Let me go ahead and get this started.
Are you doing the screen share? Okay.
I am.
Okay, so we can set. Okay, look at this. All right.
See, now I'm gonna admit outright, 400 billion anything is really intimidating to me. Like, that is a lot to explore, but sounds fantastic. Let's see. Advisable to get grips with your ship and hone your flying and docking. Can you imagine? Like, so you have to actively fly and dock your ship, which means that, like, theoretically, you could crash your ship while, like, just trying to land to get food. Like, you could crash your ship trying to go to, like, Space Taco Bell.
Yeah. They do have Taco Bells in space, evidently.
If they don't, they should.
Yeah. So this looks intriguing, but now, how much is this game going to cost? I mean, is it an expensive game? Do they allow you to try it before you buy it, or what?
Let's go to the store.
Okay. And see for yourself.
So it is available via digital download.
Yeah, I see that.
Let's see. Okay, so these must be ships.
Everything's in pounds, so this is obviously a British game.
Yeah, it says that it comes in British, French, Russian, and English. So obviously, kind of bigger over in the UK. It says it's 40 euros, which I think works out to like $52 or $53.
Though getting increasingly closer to dollars, but that's a topic for another show.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that looks really awesome. I will admit, the hardware specs are, if I recall correctly, a little daunting.
You need at least Titan 10 to run it.
Titan 10, yeah.
Next.
10 Titan X's.
One.
But here's a prime example of what people who play video games a lot like. Here's a prime example of what they do when they haven't heard of a game, and Josh goes and he goes to the official website. I'll Google it and I'll go to the videos and look at reviews from gaming websites. Look at videos and then I'll look at other reviews on like Amazon or places like that. You do your research before you actually jump into a game. $40, $60, $10. It's still worth it to look at what people are saying about it before you just jump in and say, oh, I'm not going to read the reviews. I want to go in fresh. That's a quick way to out yourself a couple tens, a couple dollars.
Well, we've all done it. We've all picked up that game where it's just like, wow, it doesn't matter that it was on sale. I really shouldn't have bought that. But I agree. I mean, that's what we're here for, and that's what the internet's here for, so we can share those opinions and steer people towards awesome games.
See, this is one thing about games. You can't, when you buy it, you can't bring it back. It's like you can't take it back to the store and say, I didn't like this game, and I want a refund or my money. This is the way.
It's like going back with a cupcake and a bite taken out of it, and it's like, I really don't like this one. They're kind of just going to shrug their shoulders at you and say, well, you bit the cupcake.
Yeah, but cupcake didn't cost $60, so.
I'm sure somewhere out there you could find a $60 cupcake.
Yeah,
I think you could, Josh, out there in Portland.
Yeah.
Out in Portland.
I bet you could.
Flannel cupcake.
But seriously, I mean, games have always been basically in one direction. Even when you could go and you could buy them, if you broke the shrink wrap on the game or something like that, a lot of stores just wouldn't take it back because I guess they were afraid you would copy the game or something and then bring it back. Maybe in the early days that was the case, but now that's really not possible. But once you buy a game, you own it, and I think that's pretty much it. So you really need to do your research before you invest your money, and that's one of the things that we do here at ComputerAmerica.com and our Gamer Tuesday, and there are websites out there like PopZara.com and GotGame.com. So you can read editorial reviews about the games, and what the editors, what the gaming pros think about these games.
And And I guess a service like Josh provides is more important nowadays because we were talking about earlier where the $60 game is going away. It's really not. It's just that the $60 Blockbuster game, that used to be the only way to get a game out there, to get distributed to a large audience. But nowadays, it's, you can get a game put on the market. You can get it put on Steam, on the App Store, on the Android App Store for pretty much free, and you can put pretty much whatever you want up there. I mean, it could be a completely broken game. Just look at the Pokemon, the Pokemon app that was on the store that all it did was crash your iPhone, sold a couple 100,000 immediately. Uh, so back in the day, it wasn't that big a deal because if it wasn't that good, you may not have as much fun, but hey, it was stress tested to some point. Nowadays, anything can get made. Anything can get put up on the App Store.
Yeah, exactly. At this point, I mean, it makes sense, and it's like for example, you mentioned movies earlier, Josh, and it's a synonymous, the same thing. I mean, everybody's waiting for Avengers: Age of Ultron, which comes out first. I mean, I'm going to go see that. I mean, my movie watching, running to the theater has really gotten pared way down, and I only go to take the time and effort to get up, go to a movie, pay the whatever it is, if it's something I really want to see. Other than that, I'll just wait. Eventually, you'll see it on Netflix or one of the you'll catch it on some other source. But those are few and far between. I think the next thing that's coming out, but it won't be till 2016. Was it Batman versus Superman?
Right.
Yeah.
Batman v Superman: Dawn of Justice.
Yeah, Dawn of Justice. I mean, there's some of these huge super titles. They're not even releasing the trailer for that movie until after the Age of Ultron, starts its run for about a couple. Yeah, they don't want to bring in. I think it's Warner Brothers. They don't want to go out until that kind of calms down, and I can understand that. It makes a lot of sense, actually.
Mm-hmm.
And it's the same thing with games. I mean, there are a few out there that you're gonna see, and you can say, "I want," just like Ben did with the Skyline. He wanted it, and he wasn't gonna wait around for it to get cheaper. He wanted it and experience it right away. But if you do your research, you do it carefully. You can still have gaming on the cheap, and do it wisely and save your money, so when that huge blockbuster comes out and you got to have it now, you'll have your dollars saved up to do it.
Though I have to say, Josh, your recommendation with the bundles, probably the best way to go about it. Because when you do any of the other tactics, except for maybe the Steam sale, because you can get stuff on sale there for like 38 cents, and you're like, oh well, I can't afford not to have that. No, but the bundles, you'll get games that you want, and then you'll get games that you've never thought of trying, but because they're bundled together, and especially if you get them from like the Humble Bundle or other places, you really trust who makes the bundles. You'll find some really nice games that you didn't really intend on purchasing, but you'll probably have a lot of fun playing.
Mm-hmm. And it's a benefit to the developers too, because a lot of times these bundles will go out for games that may be part of a franchise, or a studio is about to release a new game. So that Origin bundle has Dragon Age and Dragon Age 2 in it. Well, Dragon Age 3 came out this past winter, but maybe you didn't give it a shot. You play the first one and you're like, oh wow, I'm really into this story. Next thing you know, you pick up Dragon Age 3 instead of picking up, I don't know, some other random game that you thought you were going to get on sale. So it's not like, the companies are doing this out of the goodness of their hearts. I mean, they are in part, but I mean, they get something out of it too.
Yeah, exactly. When we come back, we're going to continue on with this, and we're going to talk games with gold from Microsoft, and we're going to talk about PlayStation Plus for Sony, and some of this. The basic topic, of course, is gaming on the cheap tonight. Again, if you have a comment or question, give us a call at 347-884-8881. That's 347-884-8881. I'll get you on and get you through. What about things like Twitch TV? I mean, if you can go to Twitch and watch people playing some of these games. Would that help you to make a better judgment call as to is this something I want to buy? Josh? Yeah.
Ben, do you watch your stream on Twitch much?
Not only do I watch streams, and it's like when I go to bed and I'm trying to relax and go to bed and sleep, I'll turn on Netflix and I'll turn on American Dad or something like that. Uh, but during the day, what used to be my daytime television, what used to be watching the news, what used to be other stuff, has turned into solely watching Twitch streams. Like it's more entertaining for me
Wow.
than basic television.
Huh. Okay.
You
I
look
mean, like, and I, I feel like I see that transition coming. I wish I could hop on board that same way. Like, I'm not
We
going to see
we
House
should
of
talk a
Cards.
little bit about
But
Twitch when we come back for sure.
Yeah, exactly. You seem a little surprised.
I
Josh?
mean, I guess I enjoy watching streams, particularly for things that I don't know anything about. So like Dragon Age 3, I watched a stream of its multiplayer, and that got me kind of interested
Yeah.
because I wanted to know what it actually played like. But and to be fair, I've got a number of friends who just really do spend a lot of time watching League of Legends and a bunch of different streams. But I I still have trouble. A lot of streamers are noisy people. Like they like, and I like calm. I like things that are
Got it.
composed.
Quiet game of Mist or something. All right, listen, we're gonna take a quick break, and then we're gonna continue on. You'll see the Computer America show on the Blog Talk Radio Network, the Boost Radio Network, the IRN Radio Network. Computer America correspondent Josh Boykin is here with us as we talk about gaming on the cheap. Another hour of Computer America coming up with him. We'll be right back.
Broadcasting live, it's the only national radio talk show on computers to air every weeknight. Computer America, hosted by national columnist Craig Crossman. The first hour's behind us, but there's still more of tech news, tech talk, and your phone calls. We're being beamed nationwide at ComputerAmerica.com. You got computer problems? Bring them on. You're listening to Computer America. Computers run the world, and we run computers. Call us or send us an email to live@computeramerica.com.
Hello and welcome into Hour 2 of the nation's longest-running, nationally syndicated radio talk show on computers. This is the Computer America Show, and I'm your host, Craig Crossman.
And I'm your co-host, Ben.
And with us tonight, it's our Gamer Tuesday night. Computer America correspondent Josh Boykin, he continues on with us. Lifelong gamer, a game journalist for over 6 years.
Craig, for some reason, when you say it, it feels like I don't want to say a death sentence, but like a condition. It's like lifelong
Right.
gamer.
Yeah.
He's in our prayers.
Yeah, exactly. Editor at large for popzera.com, associate editor for gotgame.com as well. And Josh is here. The theme sort of tonight, this is a general theme, is talking about gaming on the cheap. How to get more for your gaming dollars. We've talked about bundles sites for PCs, which was a great insight. But just before that, before the top of the hour, I mentioned Twitch TV, and I think that gave Josh a little bit of a twitch, and wanted to talk a little bit more. Yeah, exactly. A little bit more of a. Want to talk a little bit more about it. Ben, I didn't know you watched Twitch during the day. I thought you were based when you have some free time, but I guess you did. And you find that a lot more entertaining than all the other things that you normally watch.
Than standard television, because for everyone out there who hasn't come to embrace our overlords at Twitch.tv, it's great because there are so many different channels, where your basic television will have 500, 600 channels. Nowadays, satellite, you can go on Twitch.tv and they have highlighted channels where Twitch.tv will actually kind of promote some of the more interesting players out there, or some of the more interesting streamers. They'll kind of do you're looking for you. Like you can find people playing sports. Playing poker. You can find people playing your favorite game, games that were just released. There's still a lot of people playing Bloodborne out there. Mortal Kombat X right now is the third most popular streaming game, and that just came out. I want to say Monday or over the weekend. And it has 40,000 people watching it, and probably about 1,000 people streaming it. So if you want to know anything about the game, not only can you go in and watch what they're doing and watch actual gameplay, you can actually talk to people who are streaming and be interactive with the host of the channel and ask them any kind of question you want. I mean, there's 70,000 people right now watching Grand Theft Auto 5. There was no way before that Grand Theft Auto 5 was going to get that many viewers, and yet look at them now. Twitch is just such a great platform for watching video games that it's so entertaining, and it's a great thing that you should probably give a shot. And I'm actually surprised that Josh really hasn't jumped on board yet.
I am bad at consuming media without narrative. If that sounds.
Without
I
narrative?
love story. Like I love story. I love characters and that kind of thing. And I think the other thing that makes it difficult for me is that like I have trouble watching people play games because I'm one of those people where like when I watch somebody play a game, I just wish I was playing the game. So like I can watch something for a limited amount of time to get some information, but other than that, I'm just like, well, why don't I just go stream? Like I'm one of those. My ego, I'm so vain. I probably think this game is about me. So. I'm sorry. Did I just date myself with that reference? I don't know.
But I mean, like at the same time though, you can totally do that. You can start up your own Twitch stream, and you can invite your Facebook friends. You can invite your Twitch or your Twitter followers. You can invite the people who are kind of paying attention to you, and invite them to join you and have them watch you play video games. Like that's also another great point about Twitch is it's not just people who are hired by the network. It's hey. Anyone can be a star.
Oh, for sure.
Well, let me ask you this. So do you have people watching you, Ben, play games on Twitch?
I'm not going to promote my official Twitch channel here tonight. I'm not going to do that. I think it has a rousing 30 people who have ever viewed it. So it's not very popular because it's ranked by how many people are watching you. So like you have to scroll way, 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 way down to the bottom to find me. But hey, you set up a good stream. You set up a good game, and you actually get good at what you do. And the audience is on Twitch, and the audience will come if you set up a quality stream and you are actually entertaining. There are people making a living solely off of Twitch.tv. They have people who have quit other careers. They have people who have quit professional gaming to be a streamer full time.
Well, how does one stand out? I mean, what is it that they do that makes it so appealing that people will come to watch you?
Well, like Josh just mentioned earlier, that you enjoy someone who is calm, who is just casual conversation, very good at what they do, very good at the game. They can't be bad. Like you can't walk in there and be like, oh man, he's just awful. Like you can't watch something bad, but if he's calm, relaxed, having good conversation, bringing up good points about the game, talking about the game, interacting with his viewers, and not just sitting there like some kind of weird amorphic gaming blob.
Yeah.
And actually interact with your audience. It's you make it better and better all the time. Like there's a gentleman, his name is Destiny, and he's a very very good StarCraft 2 player, and he goes to all tournaments, he goes to all the championships around the world. He's very good at what he does, but he is as calm and as mellow as can be, and it's there's one side of the coin, and then the other side is you have people who just rage, they yell, they scream, they get animated, they get active, they're still good, but they curse, they cuss, they lose their cool, and some people like those guys. They like people who are animated and get into the game. So just be engaging, and you can get an audience.
So you're saying, are you finding that you need to be more engaging? to get more people to come to your?
Well, Greg, luckily we are in an area where it translates really well into Twitch.
Yeah.
How do you make a good radio show?
Okay. You make it entertaining.
You make it entertaining. You make it interactive, and you bring good topics to bear. And it's the same thing with Twitch. Just be entertaining, be engaging, and the audience will come.
Okay. I guess now anybody can go to Twitch, right? I mean, you can just go to twitch.com and start watching, or do you need an account or something to do that, Ben? Nope, it can't hear you.
Nope, you can watch right away. No account necessary. You need an account if you want to subscribe to certain Twitch streams. Like, you can subscribe on a person-by-person basis. So if you really like someone, you subscribe to them and you give them $5, and they get like $4 of that. So like that's one of the ways they make money. But just to watch them, no, you can just do it whenever you want.
Okay, and you say they recommend certain streams to watch. Initially?
They have a rotating selection every week of different streamers who they've kind of picked and said, these guys have a good stream setup, they just don't have the audience, you should really check them out.
Okay. Now, who does that, by the way? Do they have editors that are constantly, trolling the different streams to find something good, looking for gems?
I think you submit your stream with some highlights, and then they'll kind of tune in, they'll watch, and they'll watch your highlights, and then they'll kind of put you up on the front page and say, hey, these guys are good, you should check it out.
Okay, all right. I guess it's like anything else. If you what makes a program good, what makes a sitcom good, it's interaction of the character.
Be original and be engaging, and the audience will follow.
Okay. All right, so let's talk a little bit about what is this Games with Gold from Microsoft, Josh?
So Games with Gold is Games with Gold is actually an answer to PlayStation Plus, and sort of is both services are kind of as close to bundling as you're going to get for console gamers. So console gamers do not, unfortunately, have the benefit of being able to just walk into a GameStop and pick up 7 random games for $3.50.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean, you probably could, but they'd all be copies of like Madden 2001, and it would be depressing. So both Microsoft and Sony require you to pay a subscription to participate in online gaming for their modern platforms. Microsoft also requires you to have a subscription to do online gaming for the Xbox 360 as well. Those subscriptions are either $50 a month, or I'm sorry, oh my gosh, that'd be expensive. $50 a year for Sony, or $60 a year for Microsoft. And they come with a number of perks. One of the perks with Microsoft service is called Games with Gold. Every month they give you, I believe it's 2 new games, or not necessarily new games, but 2 games for each of their platforms. So 2 games for the Xbox 360 and 2 games for the Xbox One, which you can download for free. They're completely full versions, and even if your Xbox Live account expires, you can still have access to those games for the remainder of your digital life. The games vary generally in quality and in prestige. Sometimes you get a game and you're like, I could have picked it up for $7 at GameStop, so that doesn't do me a whole lot of good. Other times you'll get games that actually are really sharp. Games with Gold I'm not as familiar with as PlayStation Plus, since I just got my Xbox One a couple months ago. But it's a good service, and Xbox Live, the Xbox Live subscription in general also comes with ability to access Netflix, some Xbox One exclusive streaming content. It's for $60 a year. It's the cost of a game that you use all year, as opposed to most games that you pick up and play for a couple months and then walk away.
This sounds a little familiar here. Grayson Hamilton his console of choice was the PlayStation, and for reasons of his financial, he could only get one. He would love to have both, but he had the one. And then evidently things.
And then he corrupted himself and got an Xbox One as well.
Yeah, and then he got himself an Xbox One, and so now he actually has both platforms. It sounds to me that you're sort of the same thing. You were a big PlayStation fan, and then due to circumstances, you were finally able to acquire an Xbox One, but you've only had the Xbox One for a couple of months. So you're only starting to see the Xbox games. You only have a couple of months' experience with it, but do you? I guess my question to you is, how do you like it? I mean, you have. I mean, do you still prefer the PlayStation, or is the Xbox One saying, I made a mistake way back then. I really should have gotten an Xbox or then a 360 rather than the PlayStation, or is it? Yeah.
Now, I will say I love my 360. I did buy my 360 before I bought my PS3.
Oh.
I am not. I am a brand agnostic. I will pick up the hardware that I believe is the best. I actually bought a Wii U before I bought either of them, but that's only because the Wii U came out first. And I'll admit there are a lot of ways that the Wii U is the console that we all should love, but unfortunately we don't because there are just prettier consoles out there. As far as my actual mileage with the Xbox One is concerned, my favorite parts of the Xbox One have to do with when I'm not using it. The Xbox One controller is a fantastic controller and plugs in via USB to a computer, so it makes for a fantastic PC gaming controller. The Xbox One itself, it's a quality console, but it's real heavy. So if you travel frequently, like I do, it's super cumbersome. It's also loud. Its fan is no joke. Its power supply has its own fan.
Really?
Which is significant. Yeah, I mean, and the power brick in the 360 had its own cooling unit as well. So that's not new. But honestly, it's not as detrimental as it used to be. I mean, to be a one console gamer, with the exception of not being able to play with your friends. It used to be back if you had a PlayStation 1 versus a Nintendo 64, you have a completely different catalog of games to choose from. Super Nintendo and Sega were the same way. Even to a certain extent, when you're walking into the original Xbox, the PS2, and the GameCube, they all kind of had their own isolated titles, and there were some that would converge. But more often than not, especially as development engines like Unity start to come up where they're really inherently designed for people to be able to deliver their content to multiple platforms without jumping through a bunch of hoops, it's really not as much of a heartbreaker. It's kind of a marketing thing. You're not going to get to play Halo if you own a PS4. You're not going to get to play The Last of Us or Uncharted if you own a 360 or an Xbox One. But I would say a good 80% of the titles that come out as AAA retail titles you're going to see on both the Xbox One and the PS4. If you decide to only own a Wii U, you have made a conscious choice. You have made your bed, and honestly, lying in that bed it can be a good time. You just are not going to be playing the big smash AAA titles.
Yeah, we've talked about this with Garrison before, in that the console exclusive title is a rare thing. Nowadays, you're seeing along the lines of early release for certain consoles, but at the end of the day, just like Destiny, pretty sure that came out for the PlayStation before it came out for the Xbox. A week or two later, it comes out for the Xbox as well, and then the PC. It's rare nowadays to see any big, large AAA title be only one console.
I will say that, and you hit the nail on the head. It's if you're talking about AAAs, you're going to see them on pretty much any platform. And I think that's because, naturally, those companies have a lot of money they need to make back, so they really can't afford to make enemies. But when you're talking about indie developers, those are the places where you start getting some of those deals where you're only going to see the game on Xbox One, or you're only going to see the game on PS4, or you get special exclusive downloadable content on PS4 actually, Shovel Knight, which is one of my top 10 games of last year. It's a kind of Mega Man inspired platformer that's really simple but has a phenomenal soundtrack and really tight, really fun gameplay. Um, Shovel Knight is out on the PS4, and they're releasing content so that there's a level where you fight against Kratos, the protagonist from God of War. You're obviously not going to see God of War content on an Xbox. Those are the places where the consoles, I think, are really starting to try and make some of their platform-specific stands, because it's not as high profile. And I think that to a lot of gamers, making that exclusionary content between one system or the other can actually be kind of off-putting. Killer Instinct came out just for the Xbox One, but there are a lot of people who love fighting games that play on PS4, and that was a missed opportunity for Rare. So.
Wow. Exactly. So, and the Kinect, your experience with the Kinect, did you get your Xbox One with the Kinect?
I did not. I got my Xbox One sans Kinect. I do have a lot of experience with the Kinect with for Xbox One. A buddy of mine picked it up at launch, and it's really convenient to walk into your house and just say Xbox on and have it turn on.
Yeah, but you can do a lot more. Because remember, Microsoft designed that thing to be more than just a gaming center. It's supposed to be like your digital hub to all your computing devices, right?
Mm-hmm. Well, and I will say there's a part of it that kind of creeps me out a little bit, because I'll walk into the room, I'll walk into my friend's room, and it'll say "Hello, Josh," and it recognizes me, and I kind of want to ask, like, how did you know it was me? But it's a super powerful, infrared camera, and it's got a great speaker, and it's really awesome for like if you want to do workouts, you can do your insanity workout or play Just Dance, and it'll totally capture all of your motion as opposed to just holding a Wii remote and waggling it around. So it's definitely a good comprehensive system, but as far as its gaming usage, I don't get a whole lot of mileage out of it that I wouldn't get out of my PS4.
Well, that might change a little bit. Are you Apple or Windows?
I'm a Windows user. Windows 10 may actually. You're right.
Yeah, Windows 10 and the Xbox One with the Xbox Live and Xbox Gold and all that kind of stuff, they're going to have some new interaction between the two. And before it's always been, we know they're the same company, but at the same time, it's you've never been able to play the games separately or watch games or interact with your Xbox Live friends through Windows. But that seems to be changing in Windows 10.
Yeah, and I think the idea of cross-platform gaming has been something that we've always really enjoyed the idea of, and has been promised multiple times, and usually is not delivered. And it really is the big barrier, right? Where I've got friends who have PS4s that I'd like to play with, but I've got an Xbox One. That's depressing. Microsoft has a really good opportunity here with some of the continuity they plan to introduce with Windows 10 to be able to get PC gamers who are traditionally diehards onto the same platform and the same experience as Xbox One users. I have a lot of friends who are PC gamers, and the idea that I could be able to play with them without, totally upgrade. I have a gaming PC, but the idea that you could put those two groups of people together, I think, is fantastic. If Microsoft can actually pull it off, but I've been promised a number of things that I never received. So.
Well, we interviewed that gentleman a couple months ago, Ben, where he actually combined a PlayStation 4 and an Xbox One into one console.
Yeah, he was a do-it-yourself, out of your own garage kind of deal. But yeah, he specialized in turning Xbox 360s and PlayStation 3s into one. And then when they came out, he bought 3 or 4 of each. And in some kind of weird against the gods of creation amalgamation, was able to get them both in the same console, though you had to buy them directly from him, and they were not licensed. So good luck with any kind of tech support.
Yeah, yeah. Well, what he was charging for it was such, but basically you had one screen. It was, or you could send it to TV. But basically, you could from the one box, he could run both platforms, and that was kind of an interesting scenario. And he had a waiting list. Remember, I mean, he had people just standing by for him to make more and more of these things. I mean, he was tempted just to quit his job. I think he was a firefighter, and he was beginning to think, I'm going to get into this and
Firefighter and EMT, and in his spare time, making creations against the gods of humanity. It was scary stuff.
Yeah, it was
a Super Hadron Collider of gaming.
Exactly.
They were awesome consoles because he was 3D printing his own parts and stuff like that. But barring something like that, getting both consoles is an awesome idea if you can get it. But if not, it's mattering less and less which ecosystem you buy into, because there's not really these console exclusives like there used to be.
So it all depends, I guess, on the gaming platform that you like. I mean, if you want Zelda, you're going to have to go, Sony, PlayStation. That's it. If you want Halo, you got to go Microsoft. It
seemed like the console exclusive was kind of a fadeaway from back when. With the N64 or the PlayStation 1, you really didn't have the developing time or the money to actually, to actually get these games to cross platforms. It would take a lot more development, and it would take a lot more money and effort than it was worth. Nowadays, it's kind of easy to port them. It's minimal at best, because essentially at the core of both of them, they're still just computers. So right. You can cross-platform a lot easier, and it makes more financial sense. So, yeah, whichever's your favorite.
Well, and I think it's one of the things that, honestly, I mean, yes, the Wii U is underpowered compared to the Xbox One and the PS4, but I really think that its largest barrier to entry is its control scheme. Is that the Xbox One and the PS4 have pretty similar controllers, and when you're developing a game, you want to come up with a control scheme that makes people feel immersed in your product. But that 2-button Wii remote is just not sufficient. And you can pick up a Wii U Pro controller for an additional $50, but it doesn't regularly get used. And frankly, I don't think it feels as good as either of the other two controllers. So I think when people are developing games, they're like, well, why not get the most bang for your buck? I mean, you can use an Xbox controller on your PC, so you can go PC, PS4, and Xbox One pretty much with relative ease, and that's where you see a lot of games moving towards.
Which is what, the PC platform?
Yeah, PC has really picked up speed over the past couple of years compared to what it had in the past. Usually, you see PC releases show up substantially later, and usually they're not paid a whole lot of attention to. But enthusiasts love PC gaming because they can increase the graphics quality, the sound quality, more than anything that you can get out of a console, because a console is stuck in its box. You can't upgrade its graphics card. You can't change out its heatsink. You can't give it a better audio processing. So the enthusiasts, the people who are going to put together the streaming videos of your game that you want everybody to see so that they wish they could play your game, those are the people on PC. And that's why when Grand Theft Auto 5 came out on PC, everybody hyped it up forever, because it can play at 4K resolution with 60 frames a second, which is just basically nerd speak for it can look really gorgeous. So those are, the PC is getting a lot more respect from mainstream developers than it used to, and it's good because the PS4 and the Xbox One, like Ben said, increasingly are streamlining into just basically skinned PCs.
But with that Xbox One or PlayStation 4, you're looking at about 7-8 years duration for the life of that product. To basically not change, while the technology of the industry is just moving like lightning, passing it. So by the time that 7th or 8th year comes around, gosh knows what is going to be on a PC. I mean, come on, let's face it. You know.
Absolutely. I'm starting to. I'm not sure if you can quote me on this, but I'm not really sure that the era of the 8 to 10 year console lifespan is something that we're going to continue to see.
Really?
I am hoping that you get that same kind of viability, but I would not be surprised if, as they start to increase, as companies start to increase in kind of some of these side technologies, mobile gaming, VR headsets, things like the Oculus Rift, you're going to see sort of a secondary system show up that I think is going to take some dominance in development, because that's where the new hardware is going to be. That's going to be the new kind of exciting place to be, and it can theoretically integrate. You know, you can still use a controller when you're playing with your Oculus Rift. I think we're going to see some of that happen.
All right, you're listening to the Computer America Show. While you're at it, head over to our website at computeramerica.com. We did fix it, so now if you go to our contest page, just under the first pull-down menu, it says Enter Contest. You'll see our Logitech contest is up and running. We had our winners yesterday. We announced the 3 big winners. The new contest started yesterday, April the 13th. It ends on Friday, May the 22nd at 12 midnight Eastern Time. Over the weekend, we'll draw the 3 winning names, and on the 25th of May, we'll announce our new 3 winners. But, check it out. Start entering our contest. It's at right there at our contest page at computeramerica.com. The registration form is right there on our contest page, so you don't have to send an email or anything. It's right there. And while you're at it, subscribe to our weekly email newsletter, The Show Reminder. It's all free. It's all private. And just join, register for all of our contests. You'll have a lot of fun. Who knows? You'll win something really, really nice. You could. All right, Josh Boykin here is our Computer America correspondent as we continue on our Gamer Tuesday night. We will be right back. Looking for a best friend? Brother Wolf Animal Rescue has your best friend waiting just for you. The mission of Brother Wolf Animal Rescue is to help build a sustainable, no-kill community where no dogs or cats are ever killed for population control, where true euthanasia is reserved only for animals who are irremediably suffering, or for animals who are truly a threat to society and with no hope of rehabilitation. Brother Wolf staff and volunteers go door to door, neighborhood by neighborhood, to educate citizens about local resources available for at-risk pets and to help their families connect with those resources. Brother Wolf's community-based approach to no-kill helps keep family pets healthy, happy, and in their homes and out of the local shelter system in the first place. For more information or to make a tax-deductible donation to this wonderful 501c3 organization, visit their website at www.bwar.org. Help to realize Brother Wolf's vision when no animal is euthanized for lack of a home.
Who's a good boy?
Hi, this is Craig Crossman, host of the Computer America Show. You have important meetings to schedule. Your company's getting ready for its IPO, and you're in charge of the PTA fundraiser this month. So how do you coordinate everyone to be available at the same time? Are you still using emails, phone calls, even text messages to schedule meetings with a group of people? How's that working out for you? Not so great, huh? It's a fact that every day, millions of people suffer from scheduling headaches. Well, with Doodle, scheduling meetings with a group of people is quick and easy. With Doodle, you can easily propose available times to each member. Each one checks off the times that they're available, and then you simply pick the time that works best for the group, all in an easy-to-read display that integrates with your existing calendar. Nothing could be more simple. Give Doodle a try for free, and like millions of Doodle users, you'll truly see how easy it is to find the perfect date and time for all your meetings. That's www.doodle.com.
What, am I keeping you up late? This is Marty Winston with a News Tips Bulletin Review for Computer America, this time the Cantech Mobile Printer Stand. We got in the Cantech Mobile Printer Stand for review, and the first thing we need to do is to deal with the M word, mobile. This is not a printer stand for your car, and it isn't for your mobile gear. It's a printer stand, and it has casters, so it's mobile. But let's get more to the point. It's built short, so even with a printer up top, it can scoot under a desk and work from there most to all of the time. You can assemble it to be just under 12 inches or just over 14 inches tall, as your printer height, your desk height, and your preferences may require. There's a shelf underneath for paper or supplies or whatever, and slots on the back edge to help wrangle the cables. It can handle printers up to 75 pounds on its 17 by 13 inch top. Bottom line, the Cantech mobile printer stand frees up space from your desktop, cabinet top, or credenza to put your printer under many desks or work tables with room for it to scoot. This is Marty Winston with the News, Tips, and Bulletin Review for Computer America.
Welcome back to the Computer America Show. Here in the last half hour of the program, it's our Gamer Tuesday, one of the best Tuesdays we have here on the show.
Yeah.
And we are talking to Josh Boykin, all about video games and the like. And we were just getting on to, or we were just talking about. I believe we were just talking about the PlayStation 1 and the. You know what? No. The last thing I want to comment on about what you just said was the 8-10 year console life cycle.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And you know, I was just thinking that, and then you said it. It makes perfect sense that 8 to 10 year cycle wouldn't last, because you know, while technology seems to advance all the time, you know, we're getting so much new, you know, so many new peripherals, and really the cost of these consoles, where $400 to $500 was at one point a large investment for a console, nowadays that's like mid-range or even low-range for a gaming PC. Like that's not that much money that you're investing in saying, okay, I want to get 10 years out of $400. That's not a lot of money that that you want to try to stretch. Back let's say 10 years ago, when you dropped $400 or $500 on a console, on technology, that was a lot of money. Because that, I think a gaming PC back then, like a good one, ran you about $800 to $900. So you were actually putting some money into consoles. Nowadays, the Xbox One being at $350, I think nowadays, not, it would be a miracle if that lasted 8 years, just going off of the price alone.
Well, look what's coming out. I mean, we're going to have Intel on the show tomorrow, and they're going to be talking about their new mini PC, the NUC PC. We're going to have two Intel representatives joining us on the program tomorrow. They're going to talk about the stick, the computer on a stick, compute stick from Intel, which is basically it looks like a USB flash drive, but you plug that into an HDMI port on your TV, and you have a full-blown computer with including the operating system, and the mini PC, the NUC. That's a full-blown computer that fits in the palm of your hand, and that is also even if you go to the top of the line, you're spending maybe $200-300 maybe, and that's for a full-blown PC. So the prices are coming down. In addition to the sizes, it's becoming more and more affordable to get a PC, and if games are that much better on a PC, why the motivation to go get a console, I would think, is getting less and less. Because why buy what you pay for a console now, you can get a full-blown PC.
Yeah, and I will say, what made me put it all into context actually just a couple days ago. Do either of you have an iPad Mini?
An iPad Mini? No.
No.
iPad Mini. An iPad Mini is a mini iPad. It is an iPad but smaller.
Yes.
The
good to know.
Gig iPad Mini. Now, given I understand we're talking about Apple, you're talking about a price premium, you're paying for branding, I understand. But a 16 gig iPad Mini costs you $400. A 16 gig iPad Mini that I might put in my backpack costs me the same as a PlayStation 4. Like a 64 gig is $500. Like, this is what we're talking about with price points for, I guess what you would call like gateway technology. Like, we're not talking about like, oh, let's get a pair of speakers and that'll amplify my phone. Like, this is what allows you to access an environment of technology. And $300, $400, or $500 is increasingly becoming the gateway to entry. So you have your like free-to-play experiences that you get on your cell phone, which would be $300, $400, or $500 if you didn't get it subsidized on your cell phone contract. Or you have your PS4, your Xbox One, which are right in that $400 price point. You've got your, low to mid-range PC at $400. You've got your iPad Mini at $400. Like that, you're right. That price point is now becoming kind of your standard issue entry to play, and I think that's very interesting because there are so many people who don't have $400 to throw around, and yet there's still a gigantic mass of technology and software for people to experience through mobile development. So it's interesting that they all seem to be kind of converging in that same area.
Yeah, it's just I can't see people saying, "What? I just bought this Xbox One a year ago, or 3 years ago. I spent $350 on it, and it's not lasting me 5 years. What's up with that?" Like, I could totally see the console cycle getting reduced down to about 5 years, and you may not like it, but that's about what you're paying. Like, if you spend, let's say, $600 on a gaming PC, that gaming PC would last you probably about 4 years if you were lucky. So like I'm just saying, like the price point for the entry into the console system, and then the specs that it can keep up to date with, are just so low.
Well, wait. What you're overlooking is that PC that you just mentioned that you bought, unlike the console boxes, is upgradable. I mean, I can take out the CPU and put in a faster CPU. I can take out the graphics card, put in a faster. I mean, as new things approach, I can continue to upgrade that computer, which will give it more life. Whereas with this console, I can't do that.
Yeah, like I'm not defending. I'm not saying that they're one-to-one equatable. What I'm saying is that the console, for the price that you're paying, it's not. There's no way that a $350 piece of technology is going to last you 10 years. That is just out of the question nowadays.
Okay. So you think that might change it because traditionally, I mean, how long did the Xbox 360? It had a life of what, about 8 years?
Like I honestly wouldn't be surprised. If we're just thinking about the future, I wouldn't be surprised if consoles went away and you got home entertainment systems, no longer consoles, but they're actual computers that are just kind of rigged up to be the perfect home entertainment system.
Like a Steam
maybe.
box. Like kind of like an evolution of a Steam box.
Yeah, the exact same thing, where it wouldn't be a dedicated game console. It would be a central hub for your home theater. It would be a central hub for computing in the living room, but it would no longer be just a console because the console is getting outdated.
Well, basically they tried that in the past and it didn't work, but I guess maybe it was too soon for that. And that they had the Windows, they had the Windows Media Center PCs. Remember those, the Media Center PCs? And it was supposed to be the digital hub, and it had the version of Windows, and it was supposed to do that, and it didn't. It didn't do very well. But maybe it was ahead of its time, because now here we are now in 2015, and hardware is just getting faster and better. And maybe now we're due for that.
Well, connectivity was also a lot more difficult back then. I mean, now you can set a speaker over here and link it via Bluetooth. You can set a speaker over there, link it via Bluetooth. You can put your cell phone on a charging pad and it charges wirelessly, and it also links via Bluetooth.
And you have an HDMI cable. One cable does everything. The audio, the video, and it has the bandwidth to accommodate that. Or even have Thunderbolt technology, which is
absolutely
Thunderbolt 2 now is 20 up and 20 gigs up, 20 gigs down. We're getting that. That's impressive, to have that kind of connectivity. So maybe we need to. Maybe it's like Ben said, they're going to readdress it and say now that we have the horsepower to actually pull it off, whereas the Windows Media Center back then really didn't have the horsepower to do that type of thing. Yeah. So I think Ben's right. I think that's where we're sort of headed. Um, uh, one PC. Who wants?
And a lot of people kind of like the idea that you buy a console, you get a game, you know it's going to run decently well. You know it's going to run, first of all, you know it's going to be compatible, and you know it's going to run at least 30 frames per second, at least so and so. It's going to have a certain standard of gameplay. And that's encouraging and all, but you're seeing that also with PC games more and more. Not really nowadays. Like as long as you're running Windows and as long as you're running with decent specs, you can at least play most games on low settings. They're getting really really good at having extremely high settings that you can play games on, and then that'll tax even the most powerful systems, and then you can play on the extremely low settings, and then even a couple year old computers can play the newest video games.
Well,
So they're getting better at compatibility across the board with the PC market.
well, with things like with Raptor and what have you, and what AMD is doing, they actually self-configure now. They actually look at your computer, they see what your hardware you have, they kind of benchmark it, and then they configure the game for you, right? So you don't have to do it. You don't
And
have
it hurts your self-esteem when you log in and Raptor's like, you're gonna have to play us on extremely low settings. Your stuff sucks.
Heartbreak.
But yeah, you even on old computers, you can play relatively new or even brand new video games.
Josh.
No, I completely agree. Though you're right. It's a little bit of a heartbreaker when you run a game and you're like, oh, this it's something I got out of a bundle. I paid $2 for it, and what you thought was a high-end laptop, you run it on like low specs.
Have you?
But it is also really neat that there is that platform with which where I have a pretty average laptop, and I can play Payday 2 or Guild Wars 2 or any other number of 2 games with my friends, and they might run them at better specs, but at least I can still play. And that was always kind of my big barrier when I first got into PC gaming. I was using a Pentium 60, and everybody else is playing. We're playing the original Counter-Strike, and my computer just could not keep up. And it was disheartening to not only get wrecked in the game, but like not even stand a chance because my computer couldn't keep up.
Mm-hmm.
So it's nice to be able to kind of have that broadening playing field where you don't have to shell out $1,000 or $1,500 to have a rig that can compete.
Yep.
And earlier we were talking about Twitch. Now the other thing, and I didn't realize Ben actually has got an account on is this new introduction that Raptor is it Plays TV now is out. What's your opinion on that? Do you have you actually?
Are you talking to myself or Josh?
Either one, really.
Go ahead, Josh.
Yeah.
Well, honestly, I haven't really looked a whole lot into Plays TV. I understand that as as the market grows, there are going to be other sites to explore. But I really didn't see anything from at least from the press release that I had received about Plays TV that really made it stick out from Twitch. It's kind of the same thing as if like, what would be the reason for me to go to not YouTube? Like all the content that I care about is on YouTube. All the people who I watch are on YouTube. Like there has to be, to me, actually a better example is Tidal, the new streaming service with like Jay-Z and Beyonce and Drake and Alicia Keys and all these other people. I like the idea of having it intrigues me because it is an artist-owned streaming music platform. So already, I like the idea of paying people to eat and sleep in warm places, like we talked about before. Are they going to convince me to pay like $10 or $15 a month for it? Probably not, because I can still stream for free other places. But Tidal has a niche. Tidal has a reason for me to go to it. Plays TV, I don't know what that reason is. Maybe you can clarify for me what gives it its difference.
Ben is inaccessible for a moment because he's screening a call, so coming in. But I have not been on it yet, but I understand Ben has. And, it's a brand new service. They're also in with Intel is involved with it as well.
Okay.
Yeah, so perhaps maybe afterwards we can get the scoop on that, and possibly even invite them to be on the program. I know we're going to invite them to be on the show to talk about Place TV. All right. Well, while we're doing that, so the consensus is that basically, if you want to get into gaming, you're feeling that the console is going to go away, and it's going to be basically computers are going to take over eventually, and consoles are going to go away.
I think the console is going to change. I think the interaction between the console and the player is going to change. I think there's always going to be a desire or a place for basically set it and forget it technology, right? Where I mean, the reason why I think iPhone gaming is so big right now is because iPhone is standardized hardware. Whereas Android, for the longest time, you couldn't really count on the amount of RAM that you're going to have, the size of your display, the type of processor you're going to be using. Like, you know that an iPhone 4 is an iPhone 4 is an iPhone 4. And when you develop whatever your game is, you know how it's going to run on that particular piece of hardware, which I think really allowed the development community to get behind it and really flourish.
All right, well, Ben's back, so let's talk a little bit about the Place TV because Josh had not as much experience with it, but I know you went and got onto it, right?
Yeah, no, I definitely tried it, and I think the problem that Place TV is going to run into is developing an audience, because right now Twitch is such a dominant player. It's like, why would you go there if all the content that you know and you like is at Twitch? Why go over there? So they're going to have to build an audience, and then they're going to have to attract people who already have audiences, because especially with Twitch, audiences are very, very loyal, and if they can't get them to come over, then there's really no point.
Well, what is Place TV offering that Twitch doesn't? I guess that's what we're trying to figure out here.
Their main thing is how easy it is to use. And right now, Twitch is very, very technical. Like, you have to know about the settings, and you have to know about a lot of the behind the scenes. And Place TV is just trying to get anyone out there who has a cool moment in video gaming to be able to, do it on their own, broadcast on their own, and try to develop a little following on their own. They're trying to make it very, very easy to use. So. And which it is. If you want to have a highlight, if you want to stream your game, it's extremely easy to use. But I think with the lack of control that it gives you, in simplifying it, it takes away what a lot of the streamers nowadays. It takes away what they like about it, and that's how customizable and how in control they are.
Well, I guess with all that customization and control comes complexity. Right.
Yeah, which, hey, if you've ever used a Linux, there are things you can do on Linux that you can't do on Windows, but, some people like it.
Yeah, it's a little bit more under the hood.
Windows.
I'm sorry?
Most people use Windows.
Most people do use Windows, so, again, maybe Place TV is going to find a nice little niche and easy to use. Maybe some kind of crowd, get a really, really popular platform. They might find a niche, but right now I really don't see the need in the market. See a need in the market, and then you fill the need and you make money. There really isn't that much of a need. Like, there's one dominant player, but in terms of seeing a need, it's not really there.
Okay. Well, we have to give them time. They just started, and we are going to have them on the show. We're going to have Place TV on the program, I'm
not saying it's a bad idea. I'm saying it's an uphill battle.
Well,
and I would be interested in hearing some of those ideas for. I mean, they must have. Intel's been around the block. They know what it's like to compete in the tech space. So I have to imagine that they have some plans as to how they can really differentiate themselves from Twitch. because that's what it's going to take. You know, it's not like you have to pay for an extra subscription to HBO or Showtime, but.
No, exactly. Speaking of cord cutting, you know, uh, it's interesting. All right, so basically, again, we're talking to Josh Boykin. He is our gamer correspondent here on
Oh, and we have like 5 more minutes left. We're running really, really low on time. I really want to get a couple of these topics in here. Did we talk about Nintendo allows people to vote for new Smash Brother characters?
No, we didn't.
We
No, we
should talk
didn't.
about that. That was getting hilarious last time I checked in.
Oh yeah. So basically, the Nintendo opened up the polls and said, "Hey, if you have a character that you like that's been in a video game, uh, you can vote for them, and we're going to go through the votes and see who we're interested in putting in the new in Smash 4 and Smash Brothers for the Wii U." And there have been some cool ones. I have always loved the idea of Goku from Dragon Ball Z being in Smash Brothers. Shovel Knight, who we talked about earlier, has been a pretty popular one. A hilarious one is, I can't remember what they call it, but it's like Flapping Safety Dude.
Yeah.
It's the guy who like throws the Wii remote around during the little like warning screen at the beginning of each Wii game, and he's like, oh, and it's absolutely hilarious. And realistically, he has been in every Wii and Wii U video game, so there's a precedent, and it would be probably a character similar to Game and Watch, which would be pretty cool. Do you have personal favorites, Ben?
Personal favorite, I was looking at some of the top runners because really, at the end of the day, one vote really doesn't make much of a difference. I was just kind of seeing, who it was going to be. Goku, like you said, was going to be really cool. I think Mewtwo was up on the block.
I think Mewtwo's in already.
Yeah. No, he's in already. But yeah, my favorite was definitely the Flappy Safety Man or whatever you call him, and it just seemed like such a loophole in the contest, and
Yeah.
it would be such a weird thing to see, but I think it'd be really, really cool.
For sure.
Yeah, exactly.
Although I think a lot of people were trying to get Master Chief in there as well.
I'd like to see it happen. I like the concept of it, but I don't know. I don't know when it comes to brand protection. If you want like your premier character to Rockstar in somebody else's premier franchise, you know. I mean, Link showed up in Soul Calibur, but Soul Calibur is a platform agnostic game.
Yeah.
So, you can have Link from Zelda and Heihachi from Tekken and Spawn, because Microsoft didn't have any IPs at the time, and it's okay. But
they're more protective of Master Chief, you're saying?
They need to be. Master Chief, Halo is their only. Halo is basically the Microsoft bread and butter franchise. They need to be exceptionally cautious about how they spread him around, and especially with them working on Halo 5 Guardians, they're going to be I think they're going to be doing some brand control. Now, I think it would be an excellent PR move to kind of do a softer Master Chief to put into Super Smash Brothers. I think there was a little bit of a boost when you saw Solid Snake show up in Smash Brawl, but I don't know that Nintendo necessarily has an incentive to do that, because I don't know that people are going to go out and buy Wii U's so that they can play Smash with Halo. I see them buying Xbox Ones to play.
I want to know if we're ever going to see, or if we're ever going to see the face of Master Chief.
No.
I guess not.
No, we're not, definitely.
And that's because whatever you can.
Because I'm supposed to be Master Chief, and you're supposed to be Master Chief, and
Yeah.
we're all Master Chief.
So by seeing his face, you think that would be a detriment to the character?
He is whatever you imagine him to be, and so much more. It's putting a face on him just makes it all the worse.
Okay, because it can never be good as the imagination. Hey, Josh, we're pretty much out of time. Really good show. I appreciate you being here. Again, you can check out all of his articles and things at popzera.com or gotgame.com. Josh Boykin. We actually have a link on our website on today's show. You can just go to our show notes page. The link is there, and you can you can check out everything that Josh does as well. But
Thanks for having me.
yeah, no, hey, listen, stay to the end because we have a little after show from our live Computer America video stream. Let me just take a moment again to mention that our website is computeramerica.com. Everything we do about the show is at computeramerica.com. Our show notes page is there. Our chat and live videos there. Our weekly newsletter is there. The networks that we're on is all there. You can read about it. Basically also, again, our contests are up there. And I encourage all of you, our contest just started yesterday, our Logitech contest. Get your entry in now. Go to computeramerica.com, go to the contest page. The form for the contest is right there on the same page. Just put in the information that asks for you and click the submit button, and your entry is in. Again, just started up. We got 6 weeks to go. But that doesn't mean that you can't, you can't
90
enter now.
seconds.
Again, thank you for being here with us, Josh. And again, tomorrow night, Intel is going to be here. That's right. It's our Intel sponsor hour. And we're going to have two guests, Dan Snyder and John Dethridge. Dan Snyder is the technology PR manager for Intel, and John Dethridge is the marketing director for Intel. And we're going to be talking about two of their products, the Compute Stick. This is an amazing
60
device.
seconds.
It's a computer on what looks like a thumb drive, but it's an entire computer in the operating system. You put it in your TV's HDMI port. We're going to talk about that. And then again, the other thing we're going to talk about is the Mini PC, the Intel Next Unit of Computing, or NUC. Some say nuke, some say NUC. But this is an entire computer system in a little tiny space.
Pretty much in the size of a thumb drive.
Yeah, I mean, just amazing stuff. And they're going to be both here talking about that with us tomorrow night. So that wraps it up. Thank you so much for being with us here tonight. And Ben and I will see you tomorrow night. So until tomorrow night, this is Craig Crossman hoping that your hard disk never becomes floppy. We'll see you tomorrow
10
night.
seconds.
Night.
Have a good one.
Thank you for using Blog Talk Radio. Goodbye.
Okay, and again, thanks everybody for watching and here on the program. And Ben and I will be here tomorrow night with Intel, and it's going to be a good show. Again, that Compute Stick and the Mini PC NUC on tomorrow night's show. Josh, thanks again for being with us here. I guess we'll see you next month on our next Gamer Tuesday show. Okay?
Hey, looking forward to it.
Okay, everybody, good night.
Good night.
All right.
Night.